All right, boys and girls, so we are going to take a look at textbook page 19. These are the problems that you guys did, and I believe you were completing, if I remember correctly, numbers 9 through 23 odd. So you didn't have to do all of them, just the odd problems. So like number 9 and 11, 13, 15, 17 and 19, and 21 and 23. So I'm going to go through and kind of share with you my thinking as I solve these problems, and then you can check your work as we go along. So let's look at number 9. First, I should probably zoom out and look at the directions. So the directions are to use a number line or place value to round each number to the place of the underlined digit. So I know that in the video that Mrs. Connor went through, she was basically reading directions that said like round to the nearest hundreds place or round to the nearest 10,000. So, and then you had to underline that digit that they were telling you to round to. Well, in this case, the book has already done that first step. So they've just gone ahead and underlined the digit for you. So when we're using place value, if you're going through those steps, which I think many of us are right now as we are revisiting place value, and we're walking through one step at a time to round, that's what we're going to do right now. So we've underlined the place value we're rounding to. So we're rounding to the nearest 10,000. So we are going to circle the number that's right next to it. And then there's that saying, 5 or more, let it soar, 4 or less, let it rest. And you look at the one you've circled. It's kind of like the bossy neighbor, right? The one that's right next door to this number. And that tells your underlined digit basically what to do. So this number that we've circled is 4 or less. So we're going to let the 9 rest. Nothing changes with the 4. That digit will stay the same in the hundred thousands place. But when we say let it rest, we mean the 9 will remain a 9. And then your remaining numbers all become zeros, including that circled digit. Oops, I forgot 1 0 in there. Sorry, guys. Let me squeeze it in. So now you need to think about this. After you round, I want you to go back and look at the number. This is an extra step. And if you're rounding to the nearest 10,000s place, what that means in your brain, you should be thinking the number 493,295. Is that going to be closer to 490,000? Or is that going to be closer to 500,000? So we're talking about the 10,000s place, and it's going to be closer to 490,000. Again, we got there going through those steps of circling the neighbor and then walking through thinking of that saying. Again, this just takes practice, guys. It takes a lot of repeated practice. Let's look at question number 13. So I'm going to scoot this, or 11, sorry. Let me scoot this over. So the underlined digit is in the 100,000, so we're rounding to the 100,000s place. So I'm going to circle the neighbor right next door. Again, it's going to tell this guy what to do. And we're going to think to ourselves, is my circled digit 5 or more? Or is it 4 or less? Think to yourself. Well, yeah, a 7 is 5 or more. So we're going to let this soar. Let it soar means it's going to go up 1 number. So 2 now becomes a 3. The rest of the numbers become zeros. I'll write the correct number of zeros this time. Excellent. And again, if you're thinking in your brain, like, does my answer make sense? We always talk in math about, like, is my answer reasonable? So if you're rounding to the nearest 100,000s place, what you're essentially asking yourself is this number 277,292? If I were to create a number line, and at this end I had 200,000, and then at this end I have 300,000. It's asking you which one is that closer to. Well, 250,000 would be like right in the middle. And so 277,000 is going to be like right around in here somewhere. So I would say that this dot it is closer to 300,000 than 200,000 on a number line. And that's exactly what you got going through those steps. Okay, let's try another one. Question number 13. 4,028. Oh, good. A smaller number. I like these. So we're rounding to the nearest tens place. I'm going to circle the ones. Bossy neighbor tells that one what to do. So this is 5 or more. So we're going to let the 2 soar. Again, 4 in the thousands place stays the same, as well as the hundreds, but now we need to think. 5 or more, let this soar. 2 becomes a 3, and the 8 becomes a 0. Now, what does that mean as far as like our greater understanding of this? Again, if you were to create that number line, you're really looking at this number right here. If you're looking at like the tens, and you have the number 28, and you're rounding to the nearest tens place. So really you're thinking, is it closer to 20 or 30? And 28 is like right up here, closer to 30, and that's where we got 30 in our tens place. Okay, number 15. Looks like we're rounding to the nearest thousands place. That is our underlined digit, so I'm going to go ahead and circle the neighbor, the hundreds place. The bossy neighbor is going to tell this guy what to do. So again, my first 2 numbers, they don't change. So without really thinking, I can go ahead and write those down. Now I've got to turn my brain on. Is my circled digit 5 or more, or is it 4 or less? It's 4 or less, you're right, so we're going to let this rest. 3 does not change. The remaining 3 digits become zeros. Number 17. Ooh, okay. So we are going to round to the nearest hundred thousands place. So we've got 2. This is a tricky one. Circle the neighbor. The neighbor is going to tell the underlined digit what to do. So when we look, this is 5 and more. So we've got to let that soar. Well, what number comes after 9? Right? 10. The remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 digits become zeros. So I need 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I can go ahead and plug in where my commas go. I know they go after the first 3 zeros, and then again after another set of 3 zeros. Whoa, I wonder who recognizes that number. Yeah, 1 million. Good job. Number 19. Okay, so we are rounding to the nearest 10,000s place, so I'm going to circle the digit that's in the thousands because it's right next door. And that one is going to tell this number what we are doing. Again, bossy neighbor. So nothing happens to the 3 in the hundred thousands, and now I need to turn my brain on. Is this circled digit 5 or more, or is it 4 or less? The number 1 is 4 or less, so we're going to let this 2 rest. It stays a 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 digits become zeros. I can now plug in my comma. Perfect. Again, if you're thinking about a number line, guys, I know I keep going back to this, but this really proves whether or not we are really understanding rounding. So I'm going to zoom out for just a moment. So again, we're thinking the underlined digit was in the 10,000s place. So we're trying to figure out, is this number 321,679? If we're thinking of the 10,000s, imagine on our number line 2 places. The first one would be 320,000. Sorry, 321,000 or 322,000. It'd probably help if you could see what I was doing. So if we're going to plot this 321,679, that's like much closer to 321,000. Number 21. It looks like the 10,000s place is circled underline, so I'm going to circle the thousands place. You start to feel like you're kind of repeating things over and over. My circled digit tells the 10,000s place what to do, so my 100,000s does not change. Now, I need to think, is this 5 or more or 4 or less? A 7 is 5 or more, so we're going to let the neighbor soar. A 1 will become a 2, and then these digits, 1, 2, 3, 4, all become zeros. Last one, number 23. Again, the 10,000th place is underlined, so we are going to circle the neighbor. And right away, I think many of you are probably thinking that's 5 or more, so we're going to let that number soar. So 9 does not change in the 100,000s, but what comes after 4? That's right, if we're going to let it soar, now it becomes a 5, and these remaining digits all become zeros. Excellent. All right, so if you watched this video and you still have some questions, or if you want to go over the exit ticket, we'll be available at 2 o'clock. And again, we will spend another day on rounding. This is just day 1 of 2. All right, I'll see any of you during our math help at 2 o'clock.